Hey guys and girls, Pokémon King here, back with another collecting card video. So we are going to mostly be predominantly talking about Pokemon, but we are going to talk about other card games. So this is going to be a little bit of everything. So I want to talk today about collecting. And I've done previous videos on collecting, on what to collect and stuff like that. But today I kind of want to talk about getting lost in collecting, losing that passion, which happens. So I want to talk about Pokemon specifically to start with, and then I will kind of tangent off onto other card games because it does relate to all of it. So something that I've seen over the last few years of Pokemon is obviously we've had this massive boom. We've had a lot of influx of people entering the hobby. And, when you're entering the hobby, what do you want to collect, right? So you've got some people that are going backwards and going, right, I want to collect the base stuff again. I want to collect the stuff from my youth. That's my nostalgia. They'll buy singles, they'll rip packs, they'll go on streams and buy stuff, and whatnot. Excuse the pun. But there's other people that come in and go, right, I want to do modern. Some people are collecting sealed, some people are cracking packs. They want to do the alts. Another thing as well is collecting cards that you like and not just going for master sets, because I think trying to collect master sets in this day and age, master set in this economy, I think it's quite difficult. These sets are huge, so fair play if you do it, but it's not my thing. I used to master set back when a set was like 100 cards. Now it's ridiculous. So we've obviously got influx of sets constantly always coming out. We've got Team Rocket sets coming out, Dragon sets coming out. We've got partners Pokemon sets coming out, which is they're bringing back a lot of stuff that we used to really enjoy, that the nostalgia, bringing people to really enjoy collecting. But what happens when you don't know what to collect, and you kind of get lost? So I think a lot of what we see in the market movement is driven by the fact that people don't really know what they want to collect, so they're kind of just collecting what other people are doing. They're watching streamers, they're watching content creators, they're watching friends, and everyone's going, oh, look at this Greninja card, it's worth $250, $300. Or look at this brand new Charizard card, this set's hype, it's amazing. And they're going, oh, well, I want that card as well. Like, it's exciting, it's expensive. You got the Magikarp from Paldea. You got cards like the Greninja. The Eevee card's starting to go up now from, I think, Temporal Forces or Twilight Masquerade. And then you've got people just FOMOing and hyping. Now, it always existed, right? But the power of social media these last few years has kind of propelled it. To the point where people want to do what other people are doing. They want what other people have. And that's not sustainable. And I think that's when people burn out and they maybe either lose a passion for it or they, get a bit too deep into it and, come up with issues, money issues or, whatever they may be. And I think that's when, you see a bit of an issue there. Rather than people taking their time to collect, deciding, right, this is what I want to collect. Because there's so much choice out there now that it's very hard to pinpoint and hyper-focus on exactly what you want to do. I had the same issue myself. I got caught up in the FOMO of the boom and I was buying stuff that probably wasn't really me, honestly. And I did quit collecting for a little while to kind of go back to bare bones. And now I honestly say, in terms of Pokemon-wise, I really don't collect very much. I collect my Pikachus, I collect my Whismers and my Spoinks. Big up Whismer and Spoink love. Somebody's got to love them. But predominantly, that's what I do. And then I pick up some legendary birds here and there. But I'm not generally always on the lookout for stuff. And I'm never FOMOing. If I see something that comes up and I think, okay, that's a good price. That one of the biggest purchases I made this year, which really for some people is not going to be big, right? But it's relative, was the unlimited Mew EX from Mirage Forest. That is like pop 50. That's a card that I wanted for a while. I didn't FOMO it. I took my time. One came up on auction. I thought, right, this is a good opportunity to get this card finally. But I would say that just be a bit careful with things because the market moves so right. There's so much in the market. A lot of people are moving back to raw now. People just want to do really nice binder sets. Look, cards look better in binders, let's be honest. They look great, slabbed, but half the time, okay, you can get a graded card binder or you can display them on a shelf, but you can't, for the most part, display thousands or hundreds of slabs. It's very difficult. I've tried it. It's difficult. I mean, if you have loads of space, great. But binders, you can just pick out a binder. You can go through it. It's great. I've recently picked up a top loader binder, which I have here, which is huge, by the way. So this is from Cards here in the UK. So I've basically, this is it. I don't want to knock my mic, but it's a top loader binder. So I've started putting some bits in that I'm going to take to like card shows and events. So I've only really put in some of the old Japanese back cards at the moment. That's literally what's in it so far. But I'm going to put an array of stuff that I think looks really nice. But, you know, this is really great. Obviously, this is bulky. So you can't have every card in a top loader binder because I don't know actually how many that this fits. I probably should have checked before I bought it, honestly. But that's you know, that's that. So having binders, which is behind me, this is the traditional way of collecting. That's how I still collect for the most part. I've dialed down on grading now. I think the graded market is a bit of a mess. You've got such fluctuations that I think you need to be really careful when you're maneuvering around that. Liquidity is another thing as well to talk about. Liquidity is a topic that people glance over but don't really delve deep into enough. But you can have a card that's, say, £200 or £300. Now you've got to decide, okay, is that liquid? How many often does this sell? Is it, you know, a high pop? Because you talk about Moonbreon, right? It's a high pop. Okay, the price has moved a lot. It's out there. There's tons out there, but it's liquid. You could find a buyer within a couple of hours to buy that, whether it's raw or graded. But if it's a card that's maybe an EX era, you know, reverse holo PSA 10, sure, it's going to be worth more sometimes if it's a, you know, a popular Pokemon. But how liquid is that? You know, you're looking at level X's or EX's, Japanese ones, PSA 9s, PSA 10s. You can get those for like 50, 60 quid now. Are they liquid? You know, it's a niche era. So I think in terms of collecting, I think I would always suggest people making a plan of action. Okay, this is what I want to do. So for me, this year I made goals that I wanted to do within my collecting, not just in Pokemon, but in Flesh and Blood as well. I wanted to get the Mew, finally actually get the Mew. And I wanted to get a Mask of Momentum Cold Foil, which I got. So at the moment, I'm kind of just chilling. I want the Uniqlo Pikachus, the warm Pikachus. There's a set of 4 of them. I want them. I want them in PSA 9. I think 10 is a little bit much for me at the moment. So I'd like PSA 9s, but I'm not in a huge rush to pick them up. I don't think they're moving at the moment, honestly. I think a lot of this mid-era stuff is pretty safe for now. It's safe until it's not, right? I can't predict the market, so I'm not even going to bother trying to. I'll either get them or I won't. It's that simple. But I think people just get so caught up in the whole FOMO of it and also showing stuff off. I very rarely ever show any of my collection now on social medias. I do the meme reels on Instagram and I show pack openings and, you know, bits and bobs and that. And I might show a card sort of here and there, but for the most part, I'm not actively showing everything I'm picking up just because I don't care anymore. Like, I'm collecting it for me and not for anybody else. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with wanting to share nice bits. That's also a part of collecting, right? You're sharing it with people that you think might like them, whether it's social media or, you know, with just friends. That's absolutely fine. But I think if you're collecting just to show off, then you're going to get lost. I think it actually is that deep. I think collecting needs to be personal. You know, look, if you don't care about the values of stuff and you collect what you like, you know, buy the card, not the grade in terms of like grading. Collect what you like. Everyone talks about it, but it really is, you know, simple as that. I've been thinning down a lot of my collection to the bare bones, really, in terms of like what actually fits in my collection. Because I was buying stuff and I was like, does this really fit? Does this belong? And for the most part, you know, it didn't. So I don't want it anymore. And that's the thing. Goals change as well. So you talk about Grails as well. People talk about Grails. Oh, this is a Grail. What is the definition of Grail? I mean, it's a card that's extremely unattainable and it's hard to get, and it might have taken you a while to get. You know, a PSA 5 base set Charizard is probably not a Grail. You can buy them anywhere. They're very easy to get. And I don't think the value is always indicative of it, because you can have a card that's like pop 20 and you might have been searching for a little while for it. but it could only be like maybe £100, but it's just difficult to find. That could be a Grail, because it's quite rare. I think if it's quite rare and hard to obtain, if you can buy it within like 5 minutes, it might not be a Grail. So, but that's just me. We all have difference in opinions. It can be a goal. It can be a goal that you have. Okay, maybe I want to get a base set Charizard graded. I had one as a kid, and I remind my mum got rid of my collection, or I traded it, or I sold it, or whatever. That's absolutely fine. I mean, I understand that that's a card that you want, and that's a goal of yours, and you can make it happen. But I think calling everything a Grail is probably, if everything is special, nothing is special. So that's a little bit of just a short conversation. I don't even know how long I've been recorded, but that's a short conversation anyway, compared to some of my longer form content. In terms of, I think, just take a step back, assess what you want to collect, make a plan of action, and try to stick to it. If you deviate from it, I think that's when you start getting a bit of a problem. Now, I mean, you might be watching here and you might have unlimited money. That's fine. You can buy whatever you want. But for the average person, we don't have a pot of endless money. And a lot of the time we're buying and trading and selling, and things are moving out of the hands all the time. And I think sometimes we don't get to appreciate what we have. Sometimes it's good to go, right, actually, I'm pretty content with my collection. For now, anyway, there's nothing that I want. But I know the Rocket set's coming out soon. That could be maybe a set that I want to get some cards from, or the partnered trainer Pokemon that's coming out, the Dragon set. Maybe there's going to be a Pokemon 151, but Johto. I don't know. I would love that. That would be great. But, we'll kind of see what happens in the future then. But as always, please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the notification button and the Discord link in the description below. And I want to say thank you again for getting me to kind of where I am now. 200,000 views on YouTube, which is just ridiculous. That's like 3 Taylor Swift concerts. Yeah, it's huge. We're on the road to, I think, 6K subscribers, which again is ridiculous. We went from 175,000 views to 200,000 views in a month. So we've had like over 25K views in the last month, which is, yeah, it's just ridiculous. So thank you very much. And as always, have a great day.